Many of you know the name Ken Riley, you know him from the Charleston dock workers, right? The Charleston Five. And now, instead of him being in jail, he is the president of the South Carolina AFL-CIO.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I was just informed today that I was supposed to be speaking here this evening. The good thing about it is they told me I had 10 minutes, so I can filibuster for 10 minutes. But it's certainly good to be with you again, and I got to pay honor to my president, Donna B. Wood. You know, I was telling someone earlier, she was one tough act to follow. She has set the bar so high that you know, it's impossible to reach. And I think this evening I'm as least prepared as I could possibly be to speak to you. And it's not because I was not interested in participating here at the conference, but because Donna has, like I said, set the bar so high. Her involvement with so many organizations and community groups, she keeps us so engaged. We are so busy that we could not even begin to sit down and prepare a speech for this evening. But we really have been busy in South Carolina. There's still a lot of struggles that's going on, and it's a lot of fight back that's taking place. You know, because all of you have been involved in the fight against sequestration. But you know, Don and I should very well be dressed in black this evening because we suffered a tremendous loss on last Tuesday. Very, very devastating. And it becomes more devastating when we are all in. When I'm saying we all in, Labor got behind this one. The DCCC got behind this one. Some came on late, but they did. And when someone like Mark Sanford, all the baggage, leaving his post, you know the story, can win against a well-qualified candidate, well-qualified with all the support that we can bring. It tells you that in South Carolina, you can be the devil and win as long as the angel is a member of the other party. And that's a very sad commentary. But so like I said, it was a bitter loss for us. It was important to us in the movement that we win in that district because it was going to bring credibility to the labor movement in South Carolina, because I met with some folks in labor and I met with some folks in the Democratic Party that said winning this one means that South Carolina is in the move, we are in play. And we can expect the resources, because we tried to do so much in that state with so little. There's no real investment in South Carolina from the major international unions, neither from the national AFL-CIO. I just came back from Nashville, Tennessee, where we had the regional meetings. And when I hear some of the other state-fed presidents speak about the resources that they have, the staff that they have, we can only wish we were in that type of situation. So this one was going to legitimize the labor movement in South Carolina. I think it was going to put us in full play to be able to start to attract the kind of resources necessary to do the good work that we are engaged in. Because, you know, we've been involved in the immigration issues. We just had a press conference the other day, a very good press conference, and it was very well attended by the media, working on that particular piece. And then we were fighting back against all these sweatshops. When you think about sweatshops, you think about the sweatshops over in Bangladesh, and you know what happened over there recently and last year. And I'm proud to say that, you know, they had asked that several of the ports on the East Coast actually target some of the goods moving into the country from Bangladesh. And I believe the Port of Charleston was the only place that commerce actually came to a screeching halt because of the community conflicts. And that was because of some of the relationships that Donna built with community partners because it was them that put up the pickets. And of course, you know, we got on any bona fide picket lines that in front of the terminal, but you know, the employers said that this was not a bona fide picket. But you know, it takes a little bit of time to find that out. You got to investigate, you know, attorneys got to talk to each other, you know, and that takes time. And then when we finally found out that, okay, it's not a bona fide picket, it takes, you know, a while before you can get all your people back together, get them in the terminal and all the time. You know, they got to wait on us. But, you know, those are the kind of things that we've been fighting back against in South Carolina. But the sweatshops, there's the new telecommunication sweatshops by Verizon, by T-Mobile, that we've been engaged in the campaign working with CWA down there to bring focus to that issue, where these folks are just being put in unbelievable conditions in these call centers. And then there's the sweatshop on wheels. And we're talking about the school bus drivers. We have European companies from the UK, Durham Bus Company, First Student, that are creating unbelievable conditions for these drivers and putting our students at risk and in danger. And we've been bringing attention to those issues as well, working with the Teamsters and TWU and all these folks to try to fight back against that. And then, of course, the warehouse campaign. We've been working with Warehouse Workers United against the Walmart warehouses in South Carolina, Gildan, and that's a real serious challenge because these folks are dropping like flies off the workshop. Imagine putting the break room on the 3rd floor of a building, but then not giving the workers access to any elevators at all. In order to access the break room, you must use the stairs. So if you are physically impaired or you have, you know, trouble climbing stairs or something, forget about it. By the time you get up, your break is over. And when the bell rings for you to go home, you got 10 minutes to get in your car and leave the property. No conversion or speaking to each other. Do that someplace else, but not on our property. So these are the kind of things that are going on down there and the things that we engage in. So you can see that we are very busy fighting against a lot of big foreign nationals that are coming into our area. Because I can tell you, last year, 2012, should be called the year of bargaining. We had so many of our affiliates in some of the most difficult contract negotiations over the last year that you can imagine. CWA, the steel workers, 4 different locals in Charleston, all involved in serious contract negotiations, all taking strike votes on the verge of getting prepared for strike action. And of course, my international unit, the ILA, Dock Works on the East Coast. We just went through some of the toughest bargaining in the last 30 years. We got a contract, but still have not settled all of our local deals yet. And we were on the verge, we were like 24 hours before going on strike. A lot of stress and pressure put on all the workers and the entire industry. But believe it or not, we did get a contract. We got one now for 6 years. But all of this have took a tremendous toll on the membership. And we've been fighting, and we've gotten those contracts. No one actually did go out on strike. All the contracts were settled. So now we can focus on the real fight, some of the things that you're going to hear in this conference that we must engage in. And then one other thing before I sit down, I think my 10 minutes is about up, thank God. Yeah, it's 10 minutes already. But I lost my train of thought, I forgot what I was getting ready to say anyway. So I know my time is about up.
Workers under stress, the workers from the contract negotiations.
Yeah, I know, I spoke about that, but it was something I was getting ready to say about going forward. Oh, we're getting ready to have our national AFL-CIO convention in September. I think this is a real opportunity for us to push forward some agenda items that needs to be on the table, that needs to be considered, that we need to move this labor movement in a new direction over the next 4 years. If we don't make the turn now, we can forget it. There's so much that is not being done. It was encouraging for me to hear at that regional meeting the other day that, and I think I see Nancy and others who sit on the national board, that they're really now starting to look at the way we've been doing business and beginning to think that we have to look at even how we are spending our monies to keep investing over $270 million in elections after election, and we lose and we lose, we don't gain anything from it. But when we try a campaign and we lose, we don't want to go there anymore. You know, it's already proven that it's not going to work. Well, let's reinvest again. Maybe we'll get it right the second time. You know? So we really need to turn the corner now. And we need to have this room filled with younger folks, because we got to now, those of us who know this fight, know the struggle, must now begin to rebuild this movement so that we can leave it in better hands and in better shape for those who come in behind us. Thank you, and I look forward to a great conference.